The age of 17, I remember being 17 myself, and I don't know about anybody else, but I was incredibly reckless, probably not very adult or mature. I made a lot of bad decisions, and I certainly was not this kind of... I just think this is beyond your years brave, what Jake is doing at the moment. And he speaks about just not hiding it anymore and wanting to relieve that stress that he had in his life that was really impacting him. He says, it's really impacting his mental health, trying to hide who he was. The reason I feel like it's significant, Ali, is because we know what football can be like. It's so tribal inside the stadiums, and social media as well can be a pretty horrendous place to exist if you are slightly different from the norm. The norm being perhaps a straight football fan or a straight footballer. I think as well what is really unfathomable for people who perhaps aren't gay in this particular arena is how different you can be made to feel. I remember my dad, I wanted to share this story because it's something really simple, but my dad was at a Newcastle game recently, and I was at the same Newcastle game, working I was, and me and my brothers bought my dad a scarf, and it just was multicoloured scarf. And my dad, our uncle is gay, and my dad was going from bar to bar with his mates, and he said the amount of people that were basically picking on him because they thought he was wearing a rainbow scarf around his neck. And he said it could be quite intimidating. He was like, that's just from wearing a scarf that people perceive to be perhaps means that you're gay. And he said it was a real eye-opener, and it made him feel desperately sad as well for his brother, who is gay, who probably goes through his life experiencing things like this every day. And I was speaking to Georgia, one of our producers, this morning about this as well, and his brother is gay, and he was saying that the way that you're made to feel when you walk down the street, if he is with his brother, he's like, it's so different, and it really is, and perhaps you have to have experienced it personally to really understand how different you can be made to feel and how unaccepted in just general society. Football is a completely different realm in its own right, isn't it? So to do something like this is why we're calling it brave this morning, and at 17 years old, that is just mega. And I wanted to share a story, actually. I was working on the Sport Industry Awards last week, and one of the awards was for Tom Daley, the diver. And it was basically his achievements in sport and his outstanding contribution to the world of sport, because he has achieved so much as an athlete, but also what he's done around sport by coming out himself. Someone described what he did by coming out as an act that saved lives, and that really stuck with me. And I thought, wow, like how has it saved lives, and why can something like that be so impactful to other people around? And it's because I suppose a lot of people don't understand what it's like to live with being slightly different, or perceived to be slightly different in being gay in a world of sport. And what Tom Daley did was really changed a lot of those perceptions and made it so acceptable for the next generation, not just of sports people, but the next generation in general, and it becoming much more accepted. And I do genuinely think it takes society a while, doesn't it? It takes society a minute just to go, well, this is a bit different. But then eventually, the more those differences are accepted as just other kinds of norms, the more that everything can change in the future in these kind of situations where you don't feel like you can be open about your sexuality or anything else actually, that those will be removed and people can go on and just be normal and live their lives like Jake's doing. And Jake Daniels, to be the first active male professional footballer in the UK to come out as gay, I have no doubt will have such a massive impact and will make such a massive difference. So I really applaud him. I think what an incredible moment for him and his family. I read last night, I went through social media, and I went through it wincing a little bit, expecting to see some of the inevitable backlash. I barely saw any, Ali, and I was like, wow, that is just so heartwarming. An incredible moment.
The biggest tragedy of the lot, Woodsy, is the fact that we are sitting here saying it's a brave thing to do.
I know. Right?
That's the biggest tragedy, because factually you are correct. It is a brave thing for wee Jake to do, and we applaud him. But the tragedy is, we're sitting here saying it's a brave thing to do. It should be the norm. In fact, he shouldn't even have to do it. He shouldn't even have to come out and say anything about his sexuality or anything like that at all. It should be just accepted by everybody. But not well played to him. I hope he goes on and has a fantastic career. And the great thing is, he's come out and said He should come out with it every week, actually. If he scores 4 goals after he comes out with it, I think he should say it every week, and he'll be the top scorer on the planet, man. He's obviously got a great future ahead. I'm 17 years of age. So, no, fair play. Wish wee Jake all the very, very best.
I loved as well what he said there in his interview where you heard him speaking about the stress of hiding it. When he told his mum and his sister he went on to score 4 goals in his next game, which...
That's what I'm saying.
Just incredible, isn't it? I also wanted to say, I read a tweet by Molly Hudson as well, which she was saying one of the many lovely parts of Jake Daniels' story coming out as gay is that Sky Sports News and his club Blackpool have been made aware of it for several months, and that story hadn't leaked at all. And then she said that they worked out the best way for him to share his story. So she just wanted to highlight basically that there are really good people out there. And I totally agree, because for that kind of story...
But isn't it amazing? Again, we're sitting here saying, you know, they were made aware of it as if it's some big massive deal, which it shouldn't be. No, but you're right. You're totally right.
Yeah.
You know, it is a big deal, but my point is that it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the point.
No, you're right. It shouldn't be, but it is the world that we live in, and has been for quite some time. And some of our younger listeners as well might not know the story of Justin Fashanu coming out as gay at the time and being the first professional footballer to do so. And what is a completely tragic story, a tragic story that actually we have to go back and look at, because the period of time between Justin coming out of as gay and taking his own life to where we are now, that period of time in between, how many years has that been? That's been decades, right? That's tragic.
I bet it's nearly 30, you know.
It was in 1998 that happened, when he passed away. So the fact that has taken such a long time for somebody else to come out as gay in that time as a professional male footballer, that's tragic as well. That is just wild that it's taken so long. So I just think it's amazing. And I can see all your messages coming through now as well, just messages of support saying that we really applaud Jake, and what an incredible moment. And just a nod as well to Stonewall and Rainbow Laces and those kind of campaigns as well, who've been really battling to try and make something like this happen, and for it to be a really widely accepted society. Gay Gooners as well. I know I'm an Arsenal fan, so I know about all these great foundations and great support systems that would have offered advice and offered help to Jake and to Blackpool as well, of a way of managing this, and the right way. And I just think it's a really wonderful thing and a wonderful story. So yes, 03717223344. We're opening the phone lines to everything this morning. If you want to have your say on this story, if it's affected you positively, negatively, anything like that, if you've got any stories that you want to share with us this morning, we're opening the phone lines to you. So this is talkSPORT Breakfast, and thanks for listening. 7:46.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday morning 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.